Okay, guys, so today the goal of this little video is to talk about how to revise, proofread, and edit. So I know after reading all of your stuff, every single person I had feedback for, which was normal because I'm not going to not give you feedback. But I think that the similar kind of things were coming up in the sense that like you guys did a really good job of freestyle prose, and I just want to talk to you about how to create more of a poetic image in the reader's mind. So we're going to go through that, talking about like how to use examples, how to use more figurative language, how to use more detailed vocabulary and descriptive vocabulary, and then you can kind of go back to your own and kind of put your own spin on it. I've made suggestions on all of yours, and you can kind of accept or reject them or change it up. But I do want you to watch this video and just kind of see. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm a perfect reviser or editor, but I am going to say that when I reread my stuff, I do it with a keen eye on does it make sense. So let's start off. So, dear teaching, I'm just going to do this. No, I don't like that one. This. So, dear teaching, this. First thing I noticed is that I need to add a comma. It's me checking in after 10 years. Okay, so this is like, it's fine. I just want to make it like 10 years. I don't love it. So it's me checking in after, I want to add an adjective here. I want to say decade, after an eventful decade. Period. It's crazy to think how time has flown. And what I do here, and the reason I purposely have flown on the other line is because I want to create anticipation in my reader, right? Crazy to think how time has, and then they have to drop down to the next line. And oh my goodness, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry and thank you. I like the last part. I just don't love the fact that I'm using the word say, but I don't know if I can get around using it. Maybe I wanted to take the opportunity. I wanted to take the opportunity to say, you know what I might do? I might do like something like this and something like this. Again, the reason behind it is drawing our audience's eyes, right? In free verse poetry and freestyle poetry, I can do whatever I want with my wording, right? I can have words bolded. It's all about what your goal is. So here's an example of a stanza. And for those people who didn't know what I was talking about with stanzas, a stanza is like a poetic paragraph. Okay, so some of you had no stanzas and you just had one super long poem, and some of you had really great stanzas. Some of their stanzas were like 2 lines, and I would say that that's probably a good sign that you can go into greater detail. But this stanza right here, thank you for inspiring me to be creative, to challenge myself and others to become the confident person I am today. This stanza is a good starting point. It's a good setup. I could, though, take an opportunity to kind of go into detail, right? And I could use each of these creative and challenge myself, become the confident person I am today. I can kind of go into detail and say, so thank you for inspiring me to be creative. And I want to create a picture to be creative and developing an environment my students to learn. Colorful walls filled with lifelong lessons. What other things make you guys help you learn? Colorful walls with lifelong lessons. And so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to add a simile here. So colorful walls filled with lifelong lessons. That lesson is like like the treasure, right? Those lifelong lessons. Colorful walls filled with lifelong lessons. like a pot of gold. A pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. You taught me, I could probably create a new paragraph, a new stanza here. You taught me to challenge myself and others, not to just allow, someone to control my strings. And so this is going to be an illusion, right? I'm going to allude to the fact that I've learned to kind of act on my own and help others act on their own. Not to just allow someone to control my strings, but to free myself and become the real boy that I am. And that's an allusion to, almost Pinocchio, right? I'm saying, like, not to just allow someone to control our strings, but to free ourselves and become the real people that we are today. We are. And then I could probably go with another stanza here, to become the confident person. So thank you for inspiring. Again, when I revise and when I edit, you're going to see that I'm going to go back and reread things, because I think that once you start adding stuff and taking away stuff, you want to make sure that you're not losing the message. Dear teaching, it's me checking in after an eventful decade. Crazy to think a time has flown. And I wanted to take this opportunity to say I'm sorry and thank you. Thank you for inspiring me to be creative in developing an environment for my students, to be creative in developing an environment for my students full of colorful walls filled with lifelong lessons, like a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. You taught me to challenge myself and others, not to just allow someone to control our strings, but to free ourselves and become the real people that we are. And I'm going to connect this one. And to become the confident person, a conductor at the front of, I don't want to say gigantic, I want a large word. A conductor, at the front of a multicultural, because you know what, the truth is, as a teacher, like, I teach such a variety of people, right? So I want to make that known. A conductor at the front of a multicultural orchestra. And become I'm going to add this here. I am today. I'm just taking that away and putting it here. You taught me to challenge myself and others, not to just allow someone to control our strings, but to free ourselves and become the real people that we are. And to become, see, I have become here and become here. But to free ourselves and unleash the real people that we are. And to become the confident person I am today, a conductor at the front of a multicultural orchestra. Okay, I like that. Let's go to the next one. I know it wasn't always easy dealing with me. I can probably say that in a more concise way. I'm just going to kind of put it here. How can I do this? How do I want to talk about this? And I'm trying to say that I haven't been the easiest to deal with. I'm trying to think if there's a great illusion, or some sort of hyperbole where I can make an exaggeration. At times, I might have appeared as the bratty child, pushing you away, even when I actually needed you there. Oh, I like that. So at times I might have appeared as the bratty child pushing you away when I actually needed you there. And then I can get rid of this. Always not wanting, always desiring the job with more fame, status, money. I'm going to do what I did earlier, and I'm going to just make these into capitals. And you see how I've done drop down in this drop down effect because I want the words to pop, right? At times I might have appeared as the bratty and spoiled child, pushing you away even when I actually needed you there. Always desiring the job with more fame, status, money. But you stuck with me. Like a parent. Maybe I can use a metaphor, but you stuck with me. The glue to my what? But you stuck with me. See, again, we're trying to create an image in the but you stuck with me. The paint to my canvas. Right? So we're talking about this thing of just like almost being intertwined. You popped your head in on me. I see. I knew when I was writing that it sounded weird. I'm trying to say that it first kind of came into my mind. It first kind of sparked. Oh, okay, why don't we go with that? You created sparks on my fire. You created sparks. What did I have originally? You sparked my interest. Let's say camp during the hot summer days. Right? So instead of saying camp, I'm kind of giving more of an image, right? A descriptive layer. You sparked my interest during the hot summer days, showing me the love I had working with kids. I want to go with this idea of fire. You ignited. I don't know if ignited is the best word. Ignited would probably. You sparked my interest during the hot summer days, showing me the love I had working with kids. You ignited here we go. Your flame continued to grow in high school, providing me with a role model. Providing me with, I'm going to add an allusion. Providing me with my own Mr. Holland. Now it's an allusion to Mr. Holland's Opus, which is like my favorite movie and the movie that I wanted to watch I use as my like inspiration for becoming a teacher. Providing me with my own Mr. Holland. Hey, Mr. Wagman. And then you shoved me out of my comfort zone. And then, so you sparked my interest during the hot summer days. Your flame continued to grow in high school, providing me with my own Mr. Holland. And then you caught fire when you caught fire when I took my first grade 8, my first intermediate job. And then you caught fire when I took my first intermediate classroom. From that moment on, And then you ignited. Oh, let's use ignited here, because I want to show you why I'm using ignited instead of caught fire. And then you ignited when I took my first, from that moment on, I knew the fire of passion that I had for teaching would never be tarnished. No, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like synonym, antonyms. Extinguished. There we go. Never be extinguished. Right? So I've got this whole idea extinguished. I've got this whole idea here of fire, right? You sparked my interest during the hot summer days, showing me the love I had working for kids. Your flame continued to grow in high school, providing me with my own Mr. Holland. And then you ignited when I took my first intermediate class. From that moment on, I knew the fire of passion that I had for teaching would never be extinguished. So I get this image of like a fire pit growing and growing and getting stronger and taller all the time. How could you have known? And so yet, again, I say thank you. I don't need this, so I'm going to chop it out. Thank you for introducing to me to each and every group of kids I've ever taught. Sure, there have been tough time and grades. So I like the first line. Thank you for introducing me to each and every group of kids I've ever taught. I don't know. So thank you for introducing me to each and every student who impacted my life. And yes, there have been those moments of weakness. Moments, and now I got to explain what those moments of weakness. Moments where my voice elevated. I want to like to a thundering boom. Moments where my voice elevated to a thundering boom, where my patience ran out like sand in an hourglass. Okay, so again, I'm adding similes. I'm adding thundering, right? Boom. These are that's onomatopoeia. And so now I got to create a new stanza, right? Because this is all about the weaknesses. But then however, no, I like but. But at the same time, I'm going to put this on two different lines. But at the same time, there have been lasting friendships that have been built, developed, nurtured, and solidified. Okay, so it's almost like this is like the way that friendships have been built, right? They start off, they continue to be developed. Now they get nurtured, and we learn about each other, and then solidified is like the lasting thing. Thank you for bringing happiness into the workplace. I see friends who are big time. See, this doesn't fit, so I'm going to take this out. Right? When you're writing all these ideas down, and then you're like, now as I'm rereading it, I don't need it. And yes, I know I still have a long way to go with you. My journey is nowhere near the final destination. I have to learn how not to get taken advantage of. Or I might see myself, who's a character gets taken advantage of a lot. I have to learn how to not get taken advantage of. Oh, I know what I'll do. Be able to see past the innocent smiles on faces, knowing that sometimes there is something more sinister at play. Okay, sinister, great word. I'm using strong, complex vocabulary. Be able to see past the innocent smiles on faces, knowing that sometimes there is something more sinister at play. Or be able to say no to people. I'm going to make no big. You know what? I'm going to take this out. But the truth is, I'm looking forward to the challenge. Climbing the education. Oh, I love this. Educational Everest. And yes, I know that I have still a long way to go with you. I don't need to say with you. I can just say a long way to go. My journey is nowhere near the final destination. I have to learn how not to get taken advantage of, be able to see past the innocent smiles on faces, knowing that sometimes there's something more sinister at play. But the truth is, I'm looking forward to the challenge of climbing the educational Everest. Here, perfect example of alliteration, right? Just two E's that start. And so I promise you this, because you have given me so much and even because you have given me so much and even more. I don't know if that's very weird. And so I promise you this, because you've given me so much and even more. I really don't like this line. I'm going to take it out. And so I promise you this. I promise you that I will continue to embrace the unseen moments. The recess chats where tea is shared. The prep, the ideas that creep into my mind during my deepest sleeps. I promise you that I will continue to embrace the unseen moments, the recess chats where tea is shared, or the ideas that creep into my mind during my deepest sleeps. I promise to never become. I promise never to become my foil. The teacher who sees this as an opportunity. I want to say like a teacher who sees it as like not as a gift, right? As almost like the teacher. I promise to never become my foil, right? Foil character, the opposite of me. The teacher who sees this as I'm gonna write the rest of it just so I can kind of. She sees it as a blank instead of recognizing the life lottery that has been won. That's how I want to end it. The teacher sees this as a. I'll be right back, guys. I'm back. Sorry, we had a peak situation. I promise to never become my foil. The teacher who sees this as a burden. There we go. Instead of recognizing the life lottery that has been won, I will give you my everything to become the best of the best, to develop thousands of lasting relationships, and to inspire the next generation. So to you teaching, I love you 3000. So this is my personality coming out here, right? It's the quote from Avengers Endgame, right? So I've kind of read through it. I'm going to do it one more time just to kind of see. But you can see that I'm trying to add moments where I can be a little bit more concise. I can take things out, and I'm not trying to be vague, right? Anytime I can give examples, I really want to. Dear teaching, it's me checking in after an eventful decade. Crazy to think how time has flown. And I wanted to take the opportunity to say I'm sorry and thank you. Thank you for inspiring me to be creative and developing an environment for my students, full of colorful walls filled with lifelong lessons. Full and filled, right? So we've got some alliteration there. Full of colorful walls filled with lifelong lessons, like a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. You taught me to challenge myself and others, not to just allow someone to control our strings, but to free ourselves and unleash the real people that we are. And to become the confident person I am today, a conductor at the front of a multicultural orchestra. At times, I might have appeared as the bratty and spoiled child, pushing you away even when I actually needed you there, always desiring the job with more fame, status, money, but you stuck with me, the paint to my canvas. You sparked my interest during the hot summer days, showing me the love I had working with kids. Your flame continued to grow in high school, providing me with my own Mr. Holland. Hey, Mr. Wagman. And then you ignited when I took my first intermediate classroom. From that moment on, I knew the fire of passion that I had for teaching would never be extinguished. Thank you for introducing me to each and every student who impacted my life. And yes, there have been those moments of weakness, moments where my voice elevated to a thundering boom, where my patience ran out like the sand in an hourglass. But at the same time, there have been the lasting friendships that have been built, developed, nurtured, and solidified. And yes, I know. See, I don't love that I'm using and yes so much. How about and yet? And yet I know that I still have a long way to go. My journey is nowhere near the final destination. I have to learn how to not get taken advantage of, be able to see past the innocent smiles on faces, knowing that sometimes there's something more sinister at play. But the truth is, I'm looking forward to the challenge of climbing the educational Everest. Ooh, let's add a little bit more alliteration. Each and every day. I'm looking forward to the challenge of climbing the educational Everest each and every day. And so I promise you this. I promise you that I will continue to embrace the unseen moments, the recess chats where tea is shared, or the ideas that creep into my mind during my deepest sleeps. Or the ideas that awaken me from my deepest sleeps. I promise to never become my foil, the teacher who sees us as a burden instead of recognizing the life lottery that has been won. I will give you everything to become the best of the best, to develop thousands of lasting relationships, and to inspire the next generation. So to you teaching, I love you 3000. I need to fit this onto one page so it doesn't look like, it doesn't upset me. Let's move this up. Do, 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 do. Perfect. Okay, so I'm done. I've kind of gone back. I've kind of edited it. I've revised it, and I've proofread it again and again. And notice that I proofread it at the end. And I might, in an hour or two, I might come back to it and reread it and see what I like, or if I've changed, if I want to change anything. You can see that I've done things like changing the font, the capitalization, making sure that I don't have super long sentences, right? I think that these two are the only ones that I really kept long. Breaking down my stanzas to each stanza has its own focus, right? And the story is told where I'm not repeating myself so much. Yeah, I'm repeating thank you and stuff like that, but the ideas aren't being changed. So again, I've made comments on yours. if you have a question or a comment about something that I've put on there and you want some suggestions on how you can complete that, I'm happy to go and share the screen just like I did right now with yours, and we can talk about it. Or you can just send me a message or an email and we can talk about how you can improve it. So your good copy, I'm going to post this probably on the Google Classroom. Your good copy is going to be due probably next Wednesday. I'm going to share the rubric as well. Then we're going to do the next part, which is to be recording your poem. So you're going to actually record it just like I read mine. You're going to record yours, and it's going to be an oral mark as well. Okay, because I want to see how you break down your poem, how you create pauses, how you create passion and inspiration. Okay, so thank you guys for listening. I'm going to post this now, and we'll see you soon.